The Shadow of Zionism, Unveiling the Rothschilds and the Zionist Agenda. The Birth of Zionism, Definition and Origins. Zionism is a nationalist and political movement advocating for the return of the Jewish people to their historic homeland and the establishment of a Jewish state in the territory defined as the Land of Israel. The term Zionism comes from Zion, a hill in Jerusalem that symbolizes the city and the entire land of Israel. The roots of Zionism trace back to the Jewish longing for Zion, embedded in religious texts and traditions over millennia, and the response to anti-Semitic persecution in Europe. Key figures and ideologies. Theodor Herzl. Often considered the father of modern political Zionism, Herzl was motivated by the Dreyfus Affair in France, which highlighted widespread anti-Semitism. Herzl's pivotal work, Der Judenstaat, the Jewish State, published in 1896, laid out his vision for a Jewish homeland as a solution to the Jewish question in Europe. Early Zionist ideology ranged from practical Zionism, focusing on settlement and infrastructure, to political Zionism, seeking international recognition and support. The Rothschild Legacy. Introduction to the Rothschild family. The Rothschilds are a prominent Jewish banking family originating from Frankfurt, Germany. In the late 18th century, Mayer Amschel Rothschild founded the dynasty, expanding through his 5 sons who established banks in major European cities. Philanthropy and influence. The Rothschild family became known not only for their immense wealth, but also for their philanthropy, supporting Jewish communities and cultural causes. Their influence extended into politics, finance, and international affairs, often shaping policies and economic landscapes. The foundations of Zionism. Historical context. The Jewish Enlightenment, Haskalah, and the rise of nationalism in Europe provided fertile ground for the development of Zionist thought. Pogroms and systemic anti-Semitism in Eastern Europe spurred Jewish migration and the search for a safe haven. Early pioneers. Moses Hess. An early proponent of Jewish nationalism, his book Rome and Jerusalem, 1862, called for the restoration of a Jewish state. Leon Pinsker, his pamphlet Auto-Emancipation, 1882, argued for Jewish self-determination in response to so-called persistent anti-Semitism. Early Zionist Congresses. The first Zionist Congress, held in Basel, Switzerland in 1897, organized by Theodor Herzl, established the World Zionist Organization, WZO, to promote Jewish settlement in Palestine and gain international support. Key resolutions. The Basel Program advocated for the establishment of a publicly and legally assured home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Created institutions like the Jewish National Fund, JNF, to purchase land in Palestine. The Rothschild dynasty. Expansion and influence. The Rothschilds expanded their banking empire across Europe, establishing branches in London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt. Their financial acumen and extensive network allowed them to influence international finance and politics. Support for Jewish causes. The Rothschilds were major benefactors of Jewish communities, funding schools, synagogues, and charitable organizations. They played a significant role in supporting the early Zionist movement through financial and political means. The Rothschild influence. Financial power. The Rothschild banks were instrumental in financing major infrastructure projects, including railways, which facilitated economic growth in Europe. Their financial support extended to governments and corporations, solidifying their influence. Political connections. The Rothschilds maintained close relationships with European royalty and political leaders, often advising on economic and political matters. Their influence was pivotal in gaining political support for Zionist aims. A banking dynasty. The family's financial network. The Rothschild banking network was characterized by innovative financial practices, such as establishing a reliable postal system and creating the first multinational bank. They managed assets and conducted transactions across borders, setting the foundation for modern global finance. Economic contributions. The Rothschilds financed significant industrial and infrastructure projects, contributing to the modernization of Europe. Their wealth and business acumen enabled them to support various philanthropic and cultural endeavors. Support for Zionism. Early contributions. The Rothschild family funded the establishment of agricultural colonies in Palestine, such as Rishon LeZion and Zichron Yaakov. Their financial support helped build infrastructure and support Jewish immigration to Palestine. Strategic philanthropy. Baron Edmund de Rothschild, known as the father of the Yishuv, was particularly influential, investing millions in land purchases and development projects in Palestine. His efforts laid the groundwork for the future establishment of the State of Israel. The Balfour Declaration. Historical context. During World War I, Britain sought to gain Jewish support for the Allied cause. The Balfour Declaration, issued in 1917, expressed British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Rothschild connection. The declaration was addressed to Lord Walter Rothschild, a leader of the British Jewish community, symbolizing the Rothschilds' influence. The declaration marked a significant diplomatic victory for Zionist leaders and paved the way for international recognition of Jewish aspirations.
In modern Jewish history, and it begins with 3 words: Dear Lord Rothschild.
Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet.
Why was it that this letter was sent by the Foreign Secretary to your great-uncle Walter?
It's an interesting question because it was primarily a movement from Eastern Europe, but they didn't clarify who was in charge of that movement. And in addition, it was after all in Great Britain. So they felt that the Rothschild family should be the one to whom it was addressed. And Walter was Lord Rothschild, and he was a Zionist. And those really are the background reasons.
So Walter received the Balfour Declaration, and I have a copy here. And I wonder if I could possibly ask you to read it for us.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I'm going to put on my spectacles to make sure I read it accurately. His Majesty's government view with favour the establishment of Palestine as a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavours to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. Yours, Arthur Balfour.
And here it is, the Balfour Declaration. What do you feel when you see it here?
I genuinely feel it's one of the most extraordinary moments in the history of the Jewish people. If you think it took 3,000 years to get to this, and then you say, how did this miracle happen? It's the most incredible piece of opportunism. I mean, if you think you had an impoverished would-be scientist, Chaim Weizmann, who somehow gets to England, meets a few people, including members of my family, seduces them. He has such great charm and conviction. He gets to Balfour, and he unbelievably persuades Balfour and Lloyd George, the Prime Minister, and most of the ministers, that this idea of the national home for Jews should be allowed to take place. I mean, it's so unlikely. And then he's, starts to fight a difficult battle with the British cabinet, and this letter goes through 5 drafts, as you know. And in the end, it comes out as a rather compromising letter. I mean, the essential point is there for the Jewish community to fasten on to. You have the first bit, which promises a national home rather than the national home, and then you have the bit that nothing that's to be done should in any way harm the Arab community. But you come back to the big point, which is that this is perhaps the greatest event in Jewish life for thousands of years.
Post-war developments. Aftermath of World War I, the League of Nations endorsed the Balfour Declaration, incorporating it into the British Mandate for Palestine. Jewish immigration to Palestine increased, fueled by Zionist aspirations and evil rising, building the state. The interwar period saw significant Jewish settlement and institution building in Palestine. including the establishment of the Hebrew University and the Haganah Defense Organization. Tensions between Jewish and Arab populations escalated, leading to violent genocide clashes and political struggles in Palestine. State of Israel. The State of Israel was established in 1948, following the UN Partition Plan and the subsequent War of Independence. Zionism achieved its primary evil goal, but the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains a central issue in Middle Eastern politics. Global influence. Israel's existence and its political, economic, and military policies continue to influence global geopolitics, especially the Western colonial powers. Zionist organizations and their supporters, including influential figures and institutions, play a significant role in shaping international relations and policies of evil ideologies. Economic and political influence. Zionist organizations. Organizations like the Jewish Agency, the World Zionist Organization, and various lobby groups advocate for Jewish and Israeli interests worldwide. These organizations influence political decisions, economic investments, and public opinion. Financial contributions. Jewish philanthropists and supporters, including prominent business figures, continue to contribute to Israel's economy and global Jewish causes. Economic partnerships and investments strengthen Israel's position in the global market. The legacy of Zionism. Cultural and social impact. Zionism has fostered a strong sense of Jewish identity and solidarity, both in Israel and the diaspora, brainwashing the people whom it controls to hate ideology and Zionist white supremacy. The Hebrew language revival and the flourishing of Jewish culture in Israel are significant achievements of the Zionist movement. Political realities. The ongoing Israeli genocide and Palestinian state and debates over settlements, security, and peace reflect the complex legacy of evil Zionism. The movement's success in establishing a Jewish state is tempered by the challenges of achieving lasting war and no justice in the region, backed by the Western powers. The Rothschilds today. Current status. The Rothschild family remains influential in finance, philanthropy, and cultural endeavors, and many other evil ideologies funded by them. They continue to support Jewish Zionism causes and institutions, both in Israel and globally. Modern contributions. The Rothschilds are involved in various evil business ventures, including banking, wine production, and art collecting. Their philanthropic efforts focus on education, brainwashing the children of today, medical research, and cultural preservation according to their evil standards. Future perspectives. Zionism's evolution. The evil plan of Zionism continues to evolve, addressing contemporary challenges such as the peace process, demographic changes, and global Jewish identity, with death, destruction, and war. Diverse perspectives within the evil Zionist movement reflect a range of ideological, religious, and political evil views. Global implications. The future of Zionism in the State of Israel will impact global politics, economics, and cultural dynamics in a very negative way. Ongoing efforts for peace, justice, and mutual understanding are crucial for resolving conflicts and fostering a better future for all involved. This will not happen as Zionism is in power. Encourage viewers to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth documentaries and balanced perspectives on historical and contemporary issues. Invite discussions in the comments to foster a deeper understanding and critical thinking about the subjects covered.